Westland Taipōtini National Park sits to the west of Aoraki Mount Cook and the main divide of the Southern Alps, Ka Tiritiri o Te Moana. The park contains one of the most unique collections of landscapes found anywhere in the world. However, frequent storms and an inordinate amount of rainfall make for an ever-changing and sometimes hazardous environment. Welcome Flat Hut and its natural hot springs are a popular tramping destination, but there is plenty to see in the Copland Valley. The trek to Welcome Flat Hut is an 18-kilometre, 7-hour tramp one way. It's an overnight trip with a return down the same track the next morning. The walk can be attempted at any time of year. However, heavy or consistent rainfall can cause many of the side streams to become impassable, and rockfall can become a serious hazard. DOC will close the track when this occurs, so check in at the DOC visitor centres in either Haast or Franz Josef for the latest track and weather updates. Be sure to check the forecast and do not enter the valley if significant rain is predicted. The annual average temperature sits around 8 to 12 degrees. And true to West Coast form, you can expect approximately 200 days of rain per year. Rain on the West Coast often falls harder and faster, so prepare for all conditions by taking warm and waterproof clothing, as well as a good pair of tramping boots. This is a very remote part of the country with no cell phone reception, so take a distress beacon. Pack an emergency shelter, as well as some extra food just in case you get caught in heavy rain and need to wait for river levels to drop. Bookings are required at Welcome Flat Hut. Make sure you do this online or at a DOC visitor centre before your trip. As with all walks and tramps in New Zealand, make sure you leave your intentions with a trusted contact and inform them when you have finished your tramp. You can do this on our Plan My Walk app. It takes the guesswork out of trip planning by bringing together the information you need. It's packed with heaps of useful features to help you create a trip plan to share with others. Download the app or check out planmywalk.nz. The track begins just off State Highway 6 at the Copland Valley car park. It might not look like a big day on paper, but it will be at least 7 hours until you reach the hut. Get an early start, especially in winter, to avoid getting caught out in the dark. Rough Creek is right next to the car park, and this will be your first decision-making point. Check for signs of flooding, discoloured water, debris, sounds of rocks moving, or water moving faster than walking pace. If the creek is in flood, this is a good indicator that many of the creeks further along the track may be impassable. In this case, it's best to turn around and attempt the track on a better day. There is a bridge located further upstream, but this is intended to be used only in emergency situations to help stranded trampers get out safely. Once you get past Rough Creek, the track runs through bush along the Karangarua River. This is straightforward tramping, but stick together as a group and pace yourselves for the long day ahead. The track soon joins up with the Copland River, and the first of many bridge crossings will appear. From this point forward, there'll be a mixture of bush and riverside walking. There are lots of smooth, rocky surfaces which can be slippery, especially after a good frost or rainfall. Focus on your footing and take your time to prevent any injuries. Halfway into your journey, you will come across Architect Creek Hut. There are only 2 bunks available, so don't rely on it as a place to spend the night, but it is a nice spot to take a break. From here, you will continue to climb through the bush up the valley. Constant erosion creates landslides all along the track. Some are small and new, and others are long but well signposted. Be extra vigilant along these sections, especially after heavy rain, and keep moving to minimise your risk of being hit by rockfall. The creeks along this section are also known to rise rapidly during heavy rain, so keep an eye out on the weather and the water level. With all of this in mind, you should also take the time to enjoy the beautiful native forest, Glacier Blue River, and if you are lucky, some local wildlife. Towards the end of the day, you'll have one final but quite long swing bridge crossing, and it won't be too far until you reach Welcome Flat Hut. Bookings are essential year-round, and there is also a campsite available. This hut is unique in that it has its own natural hot springs located nearby. You're welcome to take a dip, just keep your head above the water, and remember to leave no trace. The next morning, you'll have another decision-making point before you start your day. If it is raining heavily, DOC will close the track due to flooding in the side creeks. Wait it out in the comfort of the hut until the rain stops and the water level drops. Wardens maintain a fairly continuous presence, so it's worth discussing your plans with them if you're unsure on what to do. If there is no warden present, you can use the hut radio to get a daily weather update. If you get the green light, then you have a 7-hour trip back down the same path to the car park. When you reach the end of the track, it can be tempting to rush across Rough Creek, as the car park is just on the other side. However, this can be extremely dangerous when the creek is running high, as it quickly joins the Karangarua River. If you are swept into this river, the result would likely be fatal. Take the time to make an informed decision and use the bridge located upstream if you have any doubts. It's about an hour of extra walking, but this is a small price to pay to live another day. From Welcome Flat Hut, there is also the option to continue up the valley about 7 kilometres to Douglas Rock Hut. This is only suitable for advanced and well-equipped trampers with river crossing and remote mountain experience. This section of the track is much more challenging, and storms frequently change the landscape on a much larger scale. You will see damage from past storms and can expect further damage in future. In some cases, you may be the first group to come across any recent damage, and route finding may be required. So approach everything with a critical eye and be spatially aware. Creeks in this area also rise rapidly, so it's best to wait it out at Welcome Flat Hut during heavy rain. This is particularly true at Scotts Creek, which becomes extremely hazardous in wet weather. If all looks clear, then you can expect a 3 to 4 hour one-way tramp up to Douglas Rock Hut. Have a rest and enjoy the alpine views. The route that heads further up the valley is not suitable for tramping or hiking parties and should only be attempted by experienced mountaineers with proper equipment. In winter and spring, there are numerous avalanche paths from this point forward, which require an elevated skill set to successfully navigate. Rockfall also becomes a greater hazard the further you go up, and crossing Copland Pass is not safe. The Copland Valley truly is a mystical mountainscape that provides a unique experience for trampers. Get prepared for a safe trip by aiming to tramp when there is no heavy rain or storms forecast. Talk to staff at the DOC visitor centres for the latest track and weather updates. Pack an emergency shelter and extra food just in case you have to wait for water levels to drop. There are a few nearby tracks that are great alternatives in bad weather. Once you are properly prepared, you can revel in the true wilderness that is the West Coast.